asked the community what questions they still have about Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, and y'all did not disappoint. So sorry it's taken me so long to get this video out, but life has been so busy. But finally today, I'm so excited to go through all of your questions, so let's just jump right into this. I'll start off with this response by Cigar Rat Boy, which isn't a question, but they just say, OMG, how long has it been since the trailer came out? I feel we should be close to 2026 by now. At least now we're just 3 months away, but still we don't know when in 2026 it'll come. So the first thing I want to tackle is that several people have mentioned worries that it would only be on the Switch 2, but I do want to just reconfirm that one thing we do definitely know is that Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and will also be playable on the Nintendo Switch 2, so whichever or both platforms you choose, it will not be an issue. Also, Sour V4X asks, and will it be extremely quirky and really weird? Please let it have the same energy of mind-boggling randomness, and I'm sure it will. Christian Gonzalez 5160 says, sadly, the last Switch game, but the game I really want. The Mii's finally is not forgotten. Yes, the Switch 2 is out, and we've got just a few more games coming in 2026 for the Nintendo Switch, but at least Tomodachi Life is coming to that. And keep in mind, guys, it can be played on both, so it definitely has plenty of potential to sell lots of games, and therefore show Nintendo that they need to keep making Tomodachi Life games for each system. Next question I saw quite a bit is about the price. Italian Gamer Joe 7501 says, will the game be $80? Aiden's Rotems 5328. By the way, I'm sorry if I say anybody's names wrong. I'm doing my best, but you know. They say the price point. What Nintendo is trying to pull with Mario Kart and Donkey Kong has gotten me worried about if they are going to try it on other games. Watami1685 says, will it cost more than $80? Heavy Metal Red Panda says, since it's coming out in 2026, will it be $80 like the other Switch 2 games? And Owenus99 says, how much will it cost? Now, I know anything's possible since Nintendo has not announced the price point yet, but keep in mind that this is still currently set to just be a Nintendo Switch game. We do not know of any Switch 2 version. It will just be available on it. And the majority of Nintendo Switch games, besides, I think, only Legend of Zelda, the one that's a sequel to Breath of the Wild, I'm blanking on it. I think that's the only one that came up as $70. So in all likelihood, it'll probably be $60. With any luck, $50, but I'm gonna say most likely $60, which is expensive, but as far as games go nowadays, that's not like the end of the world. I had a couple questions here about a demo for the game. Lorinda73 says, will there be a demo of the game before the actual game release? And Fox Pokemon Forever 4775 says, will we get a free demo like we did for Miitopia? This is me just being desperate to play this game as soon as possible, lol. Honestly, if they put out a demo, we're all gonna be absolutely going crazy. I really don't know. I mean, yeah, if they did it for Miitopia, they could do it for Tomodachi Life, but yet they're such different games. Yeah, a demo of just the first, like, initial, you know, tutorial-ish part of the game, where you make just like maybe 2 Miis and you do a little bit, would do a lot. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Many people were asking how many Miis we would be able to have. Like, what's the limit in this game? Starry Night Pinkle says, how many Miis can be on an island at once? 100, 200, or even 500? Or maybe even more? Hero Borg Sui 5418 said, what's the limit on how many Miis on this game? Tweedash fan says, how many Miis will there be on the island? Will we start off with 30 Miis, then use quick build to build the island and make it bigger, and then later on you'll be able to add 500 plus Miis to the island, like in Miitopia Switch? Oh gosh, yeah, growing the island could definitely have a part to play in how many Miis. Holy Beans said, is there a 100 Mii limit? Icy42 said, how many Miis can we get? I only saw like 23 houses. Super Gaming 064 said, what is the Mii limit within the game? It's a good question because I think of things like Animal Crossing, where in New Horizons and New Leaf you can have the same amount, even though you have a bigger island in New Horizons and so much more availability, but it's still the same amount, which actually shocked me if you actually followed my like before game stuff, because I was thinking probably a 15 limit, but it was 10 again. But then, of course, if Miitopia allows 500, then maybe Tomodachi Life could too? But I don't know. I'm thinking about space-wise, and since we don't have like a one big apartment now, and it seems like it's houses, that could have a big effect on it. I'm going to assume it's either going to be 100 or 200. Like, they're either going to have it exactly the same or, like, double it. And that's all I can think. But yeah, that is a very good question. I do not know what Nintendo will do. We have a few questions about the open world, kind of like how the aspects of this world's kind of different from the previous game where you would tap on the area. It seems kind of more like we're free roaming it. So there's a few questions about that because obviously we're all curious about like the full gameplay of how it's going to work. Applesauce1916 says, we saw in the trailer a lot of shots directly in the island. Will it be like the original and we only have certain spots we can hang out in? Or can we explore further? Very good question, because I would like to just be able to zoom around and see them just walking about. Clockbehuman said, will there be an island expansion possibility? Because it looks pretty small, and I want to add many Miis. I also think that quick build is going to be part of the way we're able to make our island bigger, because yeah, from the one that we saw was very small, and I just feel like there's so much more we could do with it. And a lot more Miis we could have if we can expand our island more. Unquin64 says, will you get to walk on the island as like free world, like taking the camera anywhere? That would be super awesome. I really hope we get to find that out. Elias Ashtonbrenner said, will it be free roam? And that would be awesome. Fingers crossed. Yes, very good questions we need to know. We have many questions about certain locations and events and like places that were in Tomodachi Life that people are wondering will they return in Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Trey Wells 123. By the way, that's my son's nickname is Trey because he's the third of his daddy's name. Says, will there be any new events like quirky questions, rap battles, photo ops, act? And I'm also wondering and hoping for it. Gamer Bro Advanced 3529 said, is there going to be places like the park, fountain, amusement park, and if so, will they have events? Now we've already seen the fountain and what could be a park from the little clip that we did see, but no amusement park yet, and I'm also curious what events we'll get. Ultimate Gamer 027 said, I really hope they bring back the concert hall. And yeah, that's one thing we haven't seen yet at all, and I'm really hoping Nintendo does not get rid of. We have to see the concert hall. Greenberry GX also says, is there still a concert hall? Anthony Linders 1979 said, maybe something like a vacation spot or multiple islands with different things to do on them. That would be cool. And if you remember in Tomodachi Life for the 3DS, the island that had the amusement park and the cafe and the photo studio was like a separate island, so maybe we'll get something like that again? Kat Von Crimson 666 said, will the concert hall make a return? If so, will there be more customizability with the music? And oh my gosh, I would love that. I would love to be able to maybe choose their dances or movements or even just like longer songs. Oh, all of it. That's like my second favorite part of the game. First being, you know, getting married and having babies. Poners7679 said, not a question, but I kind of want them all. Considering that we already have a lot of shops, I don't think it's likely, but it would be cool. That guy Robbie14 said, what does quick build do? And that is such a good question. I'm so curious. I can imagine what it could do, but I want Nintendo to tell us out of their Nintendo mouths. Norway the Country Ball said, will the compatibility tester come back? Will it now be accurate, and will compatibilities between Miis change over time? That is a good question. I would like to see a return, but yeah, it's based on like the birthday and including year. So if you don't have year, you can't get it. And then like, I remember I would be upset because like, I think me and my husband's was like 80 something %. So I literally changed our birthdays until I got a better percentage because me and my husband are soulmates. Thank you. Cassie D said, is there a concert hall? Anthony Linders 1979 came back again to say, we need the amusement park. And also, just give me a cinema. Amix860 said, will all the previous events be in this one? Which I hope so, and new ones, obviously. Kiru asks, will there be a Tomodachi quest sale? And I also wonder that, but I also hope that, like, if and preferably when they do bring it back, that it's like an upgraded version, because I would love to see like longer quests. Dan Pachesney 3021 said, will Judgment Bay return? Which, I mean, we already have the beach, so I hope so. And Nozomi9995 said, can you still make songs? Which obviously we need the concert hall for, so fingers crossed. That's clearly what we're all wondering like the most here. Next, we have several questions about the Mii housing, since we're going from an apartment to like seeing multiple different houses. So obviously they didn't discuss what that means for us, so we're all really curious. Bob Chesterton said, will the apartments come back to Tomodachi Life Living the Dream? Because yeah, we didn't see any apartments. The Crazy Ginger Woman, which that is a very fun name, said, here's my question. Since there isn't an apartment this time, and instead we have some houses, does that reduce the amount of Miis we have on our island? And yeah, that's a good point. If we don't have one big apartment building that grows and like can fit 100 Miis in it, then what's with the houses? Obviously, they wouldn't have to move out when they get married, so you could have multiple Miis in one house if they're married sharing a house, but like still, does that limit it? And then like, how do kids come into question? Do they stay in the house? Do they move out? It's all very good questions. Anthony Linders 1979 back again saying, I think we need apartments like we had in Tomodachi Life on the 3DS. We didn't see them in the new trailer. And yep, we did not see them. Jazz5847 says, I really want to know the Mii limit. Now it seems they get houses. Also, just how much inspiration will they take from the success of Animal Crossing New Horizons, as we can directly see some items in the trailer that look super similar. I wonder if there'll be more decorating aspects as opposed to just buying fully done interiors. Very good questions. I have wanted that for so long, because the interiors is just one thing versus like getting wallpaper and flooring and then choosing all the furniture in the Mii's houses. It would be so much more customizational. And also they could still like have both options, like, oh well, here's the fully furnished option, or here's just the walling and flooring and then the furniture separate. I don't know, I'm obsessed with customization. So Teresa Smith 8696 said, are we gonna have roommates? I know it's not apartments, but I want to know anyway, lol. And good question, because that would definitely change like how houses will work. Next, we have some questions about like the online connectivity and just like multiplayer aspects in general. T-Bone to my T said, can we visit other people's islands with Nintendo Switch Online? I'm guessing we can have some sort of interaction with other islands, such as sending Mii's away or using QR codes for designs. Kind of like how Street Pass worked originally. And that's a very good question, because I would love to visit other people's islands, especially if they're more customizational. Nintendo Mania 89 said, will online or local Mii visiting still be a thing? I love Street Pass and I want some features to return. Yeah, I also love Street Pass and I'm so sad. Oh, it's such a thing of the past now. Gamer Girl Sam 24 said, I hope you can scan QR codes to add to the Mii's like before. And yeah, we had that in Animal Crossing New Horizons, how you could like share patterns. So I can't see why they couldn't do what they did with Tomodachi Life, but with Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Shadow Citizen 545 said Mii QR codes. Since this is coming out on the OG Switch, are these going to be a thing or... And that is a good question. Za2Funny said, will there be online multiplayer where we can send our Mii's to other people's islands? Very good questions. Then we have some questions about the customization of the game in general. Jetblade Warrior said, will we be able to use any hair color or are we limited to just highlights? Because we've seen highlights in the trailer, but yeah, we haven't seen like full head of color, I guess. So time will tell. That's another good question. Magic Love 99 Abby asks, are the clothes for Miitomo are going to be in it? And that's a good question. We haven't seen much from Miitomo since it got shut down, sadly. Remember My Sims 3786, and I do remember My Sims. God, that was a good game. Anyway, they say, number 1, what outfits will be available? Because I love dressing my Mii up based on one of my favorite characters, like My Sims. Oh, well, there you go. X2 Bowler, who is a close friend of the channel, says, will we be able to give our Mii's accessories? I really want to create a Mii with unique style. And I agree with you there. The New Mouse 2023 says, can we design our island using Quick Build just like how we can design our island in Animal Crossing New Horizons? And I really think that that's what they're going to be going for here. I'm really excited to see more about the whole point of Quick Build and what it can do. Now, another thing we have a lot of questions about are Mii's ears, because the trailer for Tomodachi Life Living the Dream showed that Mii's, for the first time ever in the Tomodachi Life series, have ears, and people have feelings about that. Dat Pret says, I'm just wondering if the Mii's ears are removable somehow, because if I'm making a non-human character, the ears are going to be a problem. Mint Lilac said, I am wondering if ears will be optional. Some characters would look odd with human ears, so I hope we can remove them, lol. Sheo Views says, will ears be customizable? I know it seems like an odd question, but I have stretched ears, and I'd like that option to have my Mii really be more me. Navy Bio Eats Cheese 2017 said, will ears be toggleable on Mii's? Because if they're not, it's gonna be a problem if you're making me like Plankton or Sonic. All very good points. I hope that we at least have the option like of a few different types of ears, and also to just choose no ears. I think that would be a simple solution, and Nintendo could definitely do that. But yeah, we haven't seen that yet, so definitely good questions. I have a couple questions here about seasons and weather. Jack O 0385 says, I've always loved the seasonal events in the main game. My question will be, will questions have more impact on gameplay apart from seasonal shop items? And yes, I am such a seasonal girly. I love the different seasons, which is one of the reasons why I really want to freaking move away from coastal Georgia, because we basically have one big season. It's called summer 90% of the year, and I hate it. My favorite season is fall. I love winter and all the holidays it brings. My birthday is in January, and there's no freaking snow here for like 9 out of 10 years. Anyway, that's an over the top rant. Yes, I really hope that we see more seasonal impact. Inoki Takes says, will we be able to see our island in different weather conditions? Rain, fog, snow, etc. Maybe Mii interactions could be dependent upon the environment, like sick Mii's on rainy days. And oh my gosh, I would love that. The different like weather conditions in Animal Crossing New Horizons were gorgeous, and of course had like an effect on how the Mii's interacted with the world. I mean, the villagers. So I could totally see something similar for Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, so I really hope we get to see that. Next we have some questions kind of like revolving around Miitopia. The first one here by Braden Baum says, I really want to see makeup and wigs make a return to Tomodachi Life like they did with Miitopia. Tiki Games 193 says, will the genetics with babies' Mii's be very unique depending on the wig each parent is using, or just their base hair? For example, if a father Mii with red curly hair married another Mii with blonde hair and green highlights, would the baby's hair be a wig combination of both? I would love to be featured in your video. Well, I'm so glad you joined in on commenting. You are here in the video. Thank you. And yeah, that's a really good question, because if we're going to have it and we're going to call it wigs, wigs don't affect your genetics. But at the same time, we use the wigs basically as the characters. We're using them as hair, not really as wigs. So it'd be better if they just implemented that system, however, just added them into the hair options, you know? At least that's what I'm hoping they'll do, because I would love that to affect the babies. Austin T said, can we import Mii's from Miitopia? Which is a good question, since we were able to do so from Tomodachi Life to Miitopia on the 3DS. So them being able to connect on the Switch would be really cool and would just make sense. Magical Cicero said, it looks like the makeup from Miitopia for the Switch is going to carry over to Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. If that's so, will makeup be passed down to babies? What kind of deformed abomination? I'm sorry. What kind? It's just, your wording is so great. What kind of deformed abominations can we make by mixing Rivali with Jenna Ortega? Oh god. Good question. Good question. And I'm Just Alex said, we need to know if we can transfer Mii's from Miitopia over to the new Tomodachi Life game. They are both on the Switch one after all, and I'm sitting on literally thousands of unique Mii's. It would be a shame to have to collect them, to have collected so many over the past few years, only for them to not be able to be used in the new Tomodachi Life game. And yeah, they better be transferable. I know a lot of people worked really hard on their Miis in Miitopia. Unknown Dusk said, will we be able to transfer Miis from Miitopia? Jade's World asking, will we have the makeup and wig feature like in Miitopia? All great questions revolving around Miitopia for sure. Because these two are in the same universe, it is confirmed. Our next few questions revolve around inclusivity, since Nintendo did promise to have same-sex marriage and more inclusivity in the next game. So we're hoping that they follow through on that. And that leads us to these questions. Blaze MP4 YT said, I really want to know if they are going to uphold their promise from Tomodachi Life and include same-sex romance options. I'm in Office 641 said, how do queer Miis work? We need to know, Nintendo. Oh, Heart Princess, cute way of spelling it, said the main one for me is whether there are same-sex relationships and genderqueer representation and inclusion. Other than that, it's mainly about makeup and hairstyle. I love your vids. I was so excited and immediately thought of you when the game got announced. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed them, and thank you so much for joining in on this video. Definitely want to see that representation. Peanut Butter Beans said, I'm curious if there's going to be trans dating and all that, and how certain Miis are going to work to create, like, let's say, the hamburger Mii character. Marcat02 says, can they be gay? That's literally the only thing I want to know. Pokewoki, cute name, said, will there be gay relationships? Austin T, welcome again, said, can gay Miis adopt? Which is a good question. Epic Bowling Champ said, will there be relationships? Or will there be gay relationships if they make it? But I could clearly see them not doing it to avoid making them. I can't imagine Nintendo just skipping out on relationships altogether just to avoid gay Miis. I'm really hoping they stick to their promise. They promised it. They promised inclusivity. So I have full hope and faith that they will stick to that. Next, I have a few questions about Mii personalities and behaviors. Commander of the Wind says, what will personality be like? Same as the OG, or more types - more influence and actions? James Green 17 said, will personalities be improved, and will they have more implications for gameplay? And Zillycat 8534 said, will there be new personality types or a new way to do personalities? I'm surprised I haven't seen this question yet, to be honest. I was sorta iffy on the old way, as sometimes I just wanted to see the personality itself. But at the same time, it was also sort of fun not knowing until after you click confirm. Yeah, I'm definitely curious if they're going to do it the same exact way or if they're going to be doing it a different way, but I do really want to see their personalities take more of an effect on how they interact and how they live their lives. Next, we have a few questions about Mii friendships and relationships. John Nortz 9775 says, I'm interested in seeing how relationships are going to be improved on. Specifically, I'd like to see more negative relationships. I want to see Miis who hate each other's guts, and maybe a rival title, like best friend or significant other. If not, maybe at least Miis who tolerate each other, but you can tell they would rather not hang out or something. That would definitely be curious. I would like to see how a whole rivalry works. Anubis Goddess 2353. By the way, one of my cat's names is Anubis. Actually, he's sitting right there. Newbie! A newbie! They say, I want to know if there are going to be any new relationship drama actions. I want all the drama. I want cheating. I want poly relations. I want Miis to fall out of love with their partners. I just want more drama. We all can't get enough of that Tomodachi Life drama. Gaming Noah says, will 3 fighters are better than 2 if they don't make up in a huge fight? Well, I mean, since they're fighting out and about just on the streets now, I could see multiple joining into a single fight. Who knows? Next, we got a few questions about possible Mii family trees. In previous games, you haven't been able to make a Mii family tree besides, making a few relations between your lookalike and a few other Miis. It would be really nice to have a full family tree system to avoid, to put it lightly, some Sweet Home Alabama. Video Game Gotcha J said, will we be able to set family members for all the Miis? Like we can do that for your lookalike Mii, but not other ones, and it gets weird when they try to confess to each other. Anna Joelle Kloss 3831 said, I watched the trailer and everyone saw a likeness to Animal Crossing. I kid you not, years ago, I made an imaginary dream about Tomodachi Life 2 being mixed with Animal Crossing and Sims 4. So the question I have is, do we get to make families in the game? More specifically, can we make Miis actually related to each other? Awesome dream, by the way. Cigar Rat Boy said, "Sorry, I have to comment one last time. I really hope there's a family tree in the game. Seriously, who has an island with a couple that has a brother and a sister?" Yeah, we really want to avoid that stuff. Willow of Darkness said, "Will there be a family member selector when creating a Mii? I don't feel safe adding my family into the game otherwise. Don't want anything weird to happen." Daniel McKinney, 8846, said, "Will there be family trees for all the Miis on the island? And you can make 2 Miis related to each other, like siblings, parent, cousin, uncles, aunts, and to have an in-law relationships to be shown if 2 Miis marry each other. Then you can see who's related to who, so family members can stop trying to date each other all the time." All very good questions, because this is a feature we could all really benefit from. Please, Nintendo, make notes. Next, I have a few questions relating to Mii families and their children. Zapper Zach said, "Are they going to keep the system of letting your kids grow up to let them explore?" Now, obviously our kids are going to grow up, but letting them explore is a really good question, because before, if you chose, you could keep them on your island or let them explore, but then that had to do with street pass and we don't have that anymore, but we could do internet. I don't know. Murky Water 6 said, basically the question forms of my huge yap a while back. They're referring to a previous comment. But also whether or not they'll expand on the child lives. In Tomodachi Life, you can basically only interact with the kid at their parents' house until they grow up. But getting to see them outside of the house or getting to see them in their parents' apartment would be cool too. Definitely agreed there. I want to have more interaction with the children as they grow up, because it's such a fun feature. Hannah Banana 150 says, "I'm interested to know how the family systems are going to work now, especially since we see older children like teens in the trailer. Maybe we'll get to be involved more in our Mii's children's lives." Riley Ball 2004 said, "Will the Mii's can fall in love, get married, and have children just like in Tomodachi Life on the 3DS version?" Gosh, I hope so. If they get rid of that, I will be crushed. Bagel Catinator 8243, cute name, said, "I think I said this already, but how will kids work in the port? Like, if they grow up and have to leave the island, will there be a thing where you randomly get visiting travelers of other Mii's and randomly get them back too? Kind of like a Wonder Trade in Pokemon, but more randomly timed?" Yeah, it is curious to see how they will do that, if they do that with this one. Cassandra Clara says, "Can we still get married and have children? And if we do, I can't wait to get married to my Mii character and her husband, Marth, together again, just like with the 3DS, with a happy marriage with 8 children. Whoo, 8 children, that's insane." Marty15 said, "How will the movements of carrying a Mii baby work?" That's a good question. Shaking the 3DS. I mean, there's like the geosensor? Is that what it's called? Something like that. But you can like shake or move both the Joy-Con controllers and the Pro controller for the Switch. And you can move it like that. Because I know there's that, like, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild had some games that you could like move the controller to shift this ball or something in, like, you know, the shrines. So maybe they do that, or maybe they'll just do a completely different system. Who knows? Crimson Official just asks, "How will marriage be treated?" Emily the Brawler said, "Will marriage and babies return?" And y'all, we better have marriage and babies. That's literally my favorite part of the game. Alright, now we got tons of more questions. Some of these have multiple questions. Some of these are just kind of like unique questions that I couldn't really group together. So we're just going to go through all of them now. Tons and tons of questions. Fifi Morgan 7217 said, "Will there be jobs for me to do?" Which I would assume that they would go back to work in the shops just like before, but we have yet to see it. Yep. That guy Robbie14, back again, said, "Will Tomodachi Life Living the Dream get a Switch 2 edition?" Which is a good question. I'm really wondering that too, because it's a Switch game, but it's coming out during the Switch 2's lifetime. So it could be something they do. Sophie0915 said, "I hope there's still music." I'm not sure if you mean the concert hall or background music. I'm sure there'll be background music. They better have the concert hall. Sapphire Star Fruit says, can we still give Mii's items like the cell phone, dancing manuals, etc.? If so, what new items will there be? Personally hoping for a paintbrush or something similar to show Mii's being creative and artsy. I loved the items in the previous game. I definitely want to see more slots and more items, for sure. The Sloth 596 said, I would love to see a co-op island system. I would also love to know if we still get 100 Mii's because I'd love that or more. I sure hope we at least still get 100 Mii's. But of course they haven't shown us that yet. And yeah, I'm curious, will it be like New Horizons where you have one island and then multiple people can play on it? Or will it be a system where everybody gets their own island? They have yet to tell us, so that's another good question. Jesse the Dumb Cat, the 3020, interesting name. Number 1, will Miitopia makeup option be in the game? And number 2, will there be non-bi, transgender options, and same-sex marriage? Both great questions that I hope we get yeses to. Splash of Color 8130 asks, what new stuff are they going to add to this game? Hobbies? Jobs? Honestly, great question. I really hope we get to see that they added a lot more to the game. Because it's not a super complex game, but at the same time, it can be. When you add there's still so much they could do. It's been so many years too. Soul26 said, will there be more returning buildings such as a music hall and amusement park? And how many Mii's can you add to the island? Both great questions. I hope lots. I hope we get to see lots. Mason Sawatsky asks, will there be a sexuality option for Mii's? And can you add existing real-life relationship to the Mii's in-game, like Mii's are your family? Oh yes, definitely. I hope so. I hope we get both. Ito's Melon asks, I'm curious if we could have more than 100 Mii's and maybe group families together. Yeah, if they could slow down the Mii's aging timeline and they could have families in their homes, or we choose when to age them up. Because you could have kids and adults in the original Tomodachi Life on the 3DS. So what if we get to keep those kids with their families? Because why are kids just living in apartments all by themselves? What the heck? Nick Mario 1 says, hopefully there's more gameplay involved other than watching the Mii's. Like for example, if they brought some of the Wii Sports games into the game and you can play them. Yeah, I do hope there is lots for us to do. So far they have shown very little of the game yet, so we are still left very much in the dark. Good question. Sayid Ramen asks, I hope they allow to transfer Tomodachi Life Mii's from your island specifically to the Switch Tomodachi Life. See, that's a long ways. I mean, we have the QR codes from Tomodachi Life, so it is possible, but it's been so many years and there's such different systems, I don't know if Nintendo would implement that. So definitely a good question. I want to know what the all-time favorite and worst ever food animations will look like. Definitely curious. I'm wondering if they'll do it the same exact way or if they're going to do completely new ones. Sky Gimpy says, I wonder if they'll use PNGs for food and Mii news and stuff. I sure hope so. We haven't seen anything of that sort yet. Well, I mean, they fought. There was a fight. So, and it looked the same, so I'm thinking so? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Jur53 Ryan says, I hope they add amiibo outfits like in Miitopia and trans options. I have so many Animal Crossing amiibo. I would love to get their outfits and then have the Mii's for them. Yes, so hopefully we get both. Antonio Linders, 1979, welcome again, says something like a cruise ship where they can hang out and maybe have different activities. That would definitely be cool. Curious to see if they do something like that. Clippy Fan 1 said, maybe it's just because I also want a new Nintendogs, but I'd like to see if Mii's could have pets in the game. Yes, they haven't shown us the pets, and in Tomodachi Life for the 3DS, they had the pet vouchers, so you could have cats and dogs at your house, but I really want to see it they just get to keep these pets that they get. So definitely a good question. I also want to see that. I also want a new Nintendogs. I can't drop that. I do want to see that happen eventually. That Dog Loves Dogs said, will we have some of the same funny events? Where is the concert hall? Do we get funny outfits like basic swimsuit? What type of food is there in the mart? Do we get to decorate our island like Animal Crossing? All great questions. Jana Banana 1976 says, I want to know which shops are which for sure. I want to know if the Mii's already have individual houses, can they get married, and what are they going to live in if they do? Great questions. I would assume they'd move in together, leaving one vacant house? I don't know. Mr. Movie and TV Guy 5310 said, will it have similar functions to Animal Crossing New Horizons? Or just keeping what it has always been doing with the previous installments and be more like The Sims? I do see a lot more Animal Crossing style in this one, but also still very much Tomodachi Life, so we'll see. Ed Martinez 925 said, will it have amiibo support? Amiibos were introduced a few weeks after the last Tomodachi game launched worldwide. The Japanese version launched a year before. That is a good question. I do really hope we get amiibo support. I have a lot of Animal Crossing ones. Tweed Dash Fan, back again, says, will there be all the personalities from American version and Europe version of 3DS Tomodachi Life? Will there be more new personality options too? Good question. And yeah, there's a lot of like differences in the different, Tomodachi Lives around the world, so I'm wondering if they're gonna still include those differences or no. Hazard Destroyer asks, I want to know if it's going to be like Animal Crossing and you get one island per Switch, or if it's one island per save file. Very good question. We need to know that, Nintendo. Holy Beans says, will it be one island per Switch or one island per console? Just curious. Once again, good question. Brandon Q66219 says, is this game going to be more interactive? The trailer suggests that the game has more life to it than the last one, but I'm curious as to how much more life this version has. Oh, and music. I hope we hear returning tracks or revamps of them. Ooh, I would love revamps because, oh my goodness. The initial soundtrack in Tomodachi Life for the 3DS is bomb. Marcini Ann says, I'd like to hear some of the new soundtrack. I'm just really happy that the only theme we've heard sounds like Tomodachi. Okay. That was my biggest wish. Yeah, we do not need to stray too far because it's such a good original soundtrack. Victor Souza 6088 says, will we be able to use mouse controls in the Switch 2? That's a good question because it's going to be available in Switch 2, but it's from the Switch original, so I don't know. I'm kind of doubtful. Hypercube Fixation says, how will married Mii's homes work? Since apartments are replaced by separate houses for each Mii, when two Mii's get married, where will they live? Will they combine their houses? Will they move into an entirely separate bigger house? Or will it be something else? All good questions. I really want to know all of that too, because I love the marriage system. Cheryl McMiner says, number 1, will there be marriage and children? Number 2, can I create Mii's with unnatural skin tones such as green, purple, gray? Number 1, I sure hope so. And number 2, that would be so cool. I do want to see that. It's Gem Mystic says, mostly just how the housing situation is going to work, since I didn't see an apartment building in the trailer anywhere. Maybe there's a separate island a little off the ways for married Mii's. And I hope they still keep something similar to the side area that had the park, amusement park, cafe, act. Plus, I'm excited to learn how furnishing the Mii's homes will work. All great questions, all things we need to find out. Back says, not really a question, more of a request. I hope they bring back the fountain performances that the Mii's would do in Tomodachi Collection. It was so charming and cute to see the Mii's perform various instruments. And that would be so cute. I mean, we had the guitar, so maybe? Good question. Inkling Squib 4688 says, what will the rewards for your Mii's leveling up? Also, how much content will there be? Some Switch games don't have as much replayability as their 3DS games, so hopefully this isn't the case. Also, will there be vegan and vegetarian modes and options for people to follow those diets? IRL? Those are great questions no one's bringing up. I do hope we once again see a return of the leveling up system. Also, vegan and vegetarian Mii's would be pretty cool. They just refuse to eat the meat options. Like, they're just like, nope, not for me. Black Peacock 1000 says, I wonder, are they gonna still be able to dye the hair? Or just use the new Switch Mii hair colors? Ooh, or what about this? Will they be able to build new houses for more space when the new Mii's are made? I'm also hoping that this new version is compatible with the OG Switch and not just the Switch 2. Well, it is guaranteed we'll get it on the Switch because it's coming to the Switch, and then it's also available for Switch 2 as a Switch game. All the other stuff, very good questions, and I hope we get to find that out. MaskPen9443 said, will there be dynamic weather? Will there be holiday events? Will there be player connections? All very good questions. Gosh, I want holiday. I want seasons and weather so bad. Prismatic Dragon Decoded 2579 said, "Where's the music hall? Also, is the kids system going to be done better?" Good questions. We need that music hall, and I do want to see like more out of the marriage and children system. It's already great. I just want more. Shade Zero said the DS version had a lot of unique ways to interact, like the camera and the touchscreen. How are they going to translate that stuff to the Switch? Also, I want to know if it'll be one island per Switch like it was in Animal Crossing, or it will be one per profile. Good questions. I really hope we get to find out. Silly Beef Ann said, "I would love to know if there will be any more hobbies. Easily get bored of the current ones. As well, if we get any new way to make Miis get along with like mini games or events. I swear, every time I open my island, the Miis are fighting or taking 2 years to get married or even date." LOL. Good questions. Definitely agree with you there. RS Chaos One Handed Master says, number 1, how many Miis? Number 2, if you can customize your island, how big can it be, and is it going to be stored in data like the Animal Crossing New Horizons island as a 1 per console thing? Number 3, are online functionality, if they exist, exclusive for Switch 2? If so, screw you, Nintendo. I doubt that they would do that, but I do see online connectivity, obviously being you have to have Nintendo Switch Online thing. Which, I mean, it's not that expensive, so it's not the end of the world, just kind of weird. LJ Alex says, will dyed hair be free this time? How many Miis can we keep on our island? Can we keep the offspring Miis on the island? And I hope so, because my favorite thing is having the kids, and I love my Mii children. I love them. Just like I love my little baby. I'm putting him to sleep right now as I record this. W Fugate said, will we still have lookalikes? Is relationships still the same, or will it have gay marriage or no relationships? Number 3, concerts for custom music? Number 4, will the Mii cap? Number 10, will it be fun? Well, I can definitely answer 10, will it be fun, because it will definitely be fun. The rest, I'm hoping we get to find out. Although I would be very disappointed if they just drop relationships altogether. That's not acceptable. Smurtuvi said, some of the big questions I have. Number 1, if they add same-sex marriage, how could it be included? Like an option where you create, or everyone is bi, like in Miitopia? Number 2, are there going to be new events or hobbies? Number 3, how big is the island and how many Miis can we add? I mean, I'm okay with like everyone being the same and just liking whoever, because it's Tomodachi Life and that just feels like, heck, the more chaos the better. But at the same time, it would be nice to just have a basic option where you go in, it's just in the Mii Maker with like all the other random stuff, and you get to choose what type of person this Mii would like. All very good questions. Bastardio123 said, I think an interesting thing to think about is there going to be more types of problem/events? So far we got problems, friend issues, games, love, and depression, but what if there were more types of events? Like, for example, something awkward happens to a Mii and they feel embarrassed. Icon shown in yellow, similar to The Sims, and you have to help them get over the embarrassment. It would be really cool if we got more events based around feelings. It would be so cool dealing with Miis with emotions like envy, confusion, fear, and others. I definitely agree, the more the merrier. Also, like, we all have had that thing where you're so embarrassed and then you just, you mull on it for the rest of your day, and then it just like comes back to you whenever you're trying to go to sleep at night. Ugh, definitely would like some help in that department. Volanix said, I'm curious about the level of customizability. Whether it's makeup, wigs, catchphrases, outfits, and so much more. The more the merrier. I love the fact that you could create pretty much anything in Miitopia, and I expect the same in 2026. I really want to know how they are going to extend it to personalities or how Miis would act around the island. All great questions. I really hope they show us more about just how much customizability we have with this game, because it's really looking like it's a lot, and I'm so excited for that. Dark-Minded Mark said, they gotta make more Mii-related video games, man. Agreed. Especially a new Wii Sports after the last one tanked hard. Also, agreed. Ugh, sports mates make me vomit. Also, when they make another Smash Bros. Game for the Switch 2, they should also implement like an arcade quest game mode similar to Tekken 8's, but with avatars being the Miis. It's a thing Tekken 8 did to get beginners into fighting games in a more fun and less boring way. You should search it up to see what I mean. Overall, I'm glad Nintendo isn't done with Mii's. They were definitely on life support for a while. Agreed, because now we've got Miitopia, we've got Tomodachi Life, and there's still the Mii makers in the system, but I do want to see them like come back in a more forefront way. And yeah, they're in Super Smash Bros. There's ways that Mii's have not gone away, and that is very important to me. And clearly you too. Joey Agent 191 said, so many questions. Me personally, the main question I have in regards to relationships and how much more open it will be. I'm hoping Nintendo will give more choices like same-sex marriage this time around. I feel like for this they should add a toggle to turn it on and off in case some people do not like the idea of it. Other questions? How many Mii's and new activities? All good questions. Also, I get it, especially in some countries where they're weird about it. I think it's Russia will literally just ban a game if there's literally any inclusivity, which is like, bruh. Dude, it's 2025. Super Smash Bailey said, I would love if there was a feature to bring the OG Tomodachi Life soundtrack in as like an unlockable thing. You know, like, maybe you have the soundtrack from this upcoming game first, then maybe if your married Mii baby grows up, which would trigger the credits, though I don't know how the credits would trigger in this game, the OG Tomodachi Life OST would be unlockable as an alternative option. Oh my goodness, I would love that. I would love to see if they implemented that. And yeah, I'm curious if they're going to do the same thing where Mii baby growing up is the credit roll, or if they're going to have something else this time. But I feel like having your first Mii baby is like the completion, like there's no real completion of the game, but you know, that's like the completion of you've done all of the most exciting, biggest journeys, I guess. Of course, Tomodachi Life is one of those games where you just keep playing regardless of any like achievables, I guess. Yeah. Taco Mario! Cute name. Said, I'm very curious about how the players will be more interactive with the decisions, like creating situations by yourself. Also, I think a lot of things. I wish more customizability of the island, and not that small minimalistic. Wish Nintendo had worked on very absurd situations, avoiding the monotony. And also, I have a theory that dreams will be an important element, because of the shown dream and the title of the game itself. I've got crazy for Tomodachi Life 2 since 10 directs ago, and I can't believe this yet. I'm definitely living the dream. Very cute. Yeah, I agree. It's been... My first Tomodachi Life video was like one of the first like 20 videos on this channel. I'd have to look back on it. But it was the first video that got over 1,000 views ever on my channel. And every couple years I kept posting it. But since 2023, I was just like, fuck, I swear. It's happening. I feel it in my bones. So I'm so glad it's finally really real. All of those are great questions. Tweedash fan, back at it again. Love all of your comments, friend. Said, I'm curious, will there be lots of drama? Mii family trees. Can you pick and choose to make your Mii a friend, best friend, love interest, rival, enemy, etc. with other Miis? I want to see more options and stuff in the game. Example, you can pick two Miis to be friends, best friends, rivals, enemies with each other, and vice versa. Like how the two Miis in the trailer were shown fighting and throwing stuff. It would be nice if we had more, like, choice in this, because obviously, like, here's a weird example, but, like, imagine you put Tails and Sonic and Eggman in the game, and it's like, oh, well, Tails and Eggman are best friends, and Sonic and Tails are fighting. Like, wouldn't you want to be able to, like, choose how these relationships, and I like how everyone bringing up this whole, like, enemy or rival aspect, because, yeah, before it was like, oh, they have a fight and you want to make them make up. Wouldn't it be funny if we had some that just refused to get along together, and anytime they had friends in common and had to see each other, they were, like, angry? I would be curious to see if Nintendo does anything like that. All good questions. Holy Clark Esfam. I don't know how it's supposed to... Once again, guys, I'm sorry if I mess up anybody's names. I am trying my best, but it's not like I can, like, hear you guys say, oh yeah, this is how I say it, so I'm sorry. I have heaps of questions, but I'm wondering if there will be mechanics where you create two Mii characters and you give them the status relationships such as sibling, friends, family, or even a couple to prevent it from being random. Like, I tend to create myself first, and then my twin brother, and then my boyfriend. So, who knows how the relationship system will work. I'm hoping for Mii couples to have babies again, and maybe more expansion as we level further on. Also, so cool that you're a twin. I think twins and triplets are so interesting. In fact, my cousin just had twins herself. Congratulations. Literally, me and two of my cousins all have had 2025 babies. So, gosh, my sister-in-law just had her little girl in November 2024, so close around. Anyway, yeah, I agree. We do need to like have like a family tree dash like being able to choose these relationships in the Mii Maker in some way to avoid weird stuff, but also to like just make like the mechanics of friendships and relationships in general work faster and more properly. Definitely good questions. Damn Skippy says, I share a lot of other people's questions, of course, but a few I've had are like, will there be weather? Will the island stay flat like that? I really like the previous hill aesthetics. Will they keep the compatibility tester? And how about travelers? I don't think they can get away with obscuring that mechanic completely, but how will they change it? Will there be any encouragement for local play dash connectivity dash connections like there was in Tomodachi Life? Can I give my Mii's 3DS XL still, or do they get Switch 2s now? All great questions. I'm super excited for a possibility of weather. And yeah, I'm hoping they show us that there's more than just a flatness. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like I could get used to it. I feel like I could understand it. I don't know. There's still so much more they have to show us. Also, I do think they're probably going to switch the 3DS XL and Wii U to being Switch 1 and Switch 2. Or just call it a Switch and it looks like the Switch 2. I don't know. All good questions. Crosto6463 says, how many Mii's are we going to be allowed to add? How will the camera and selection of location work? Will we get a better version for the Switch 2? Will it even release for the Switch 2 at all? So I think with the Switch 2, I don't have one yet because Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money. But I think the Switch 2 just can basically play almost every Switch game, except for ones that like specifically need the features of like the Switch itself. I don't know, I think maybe there's things their Joy-Cons can do. I don't know. But we definitely can play it on Tomodachi Life on the Switch 2, because I think Nintendo specifically said that. So that's confirmed. A Switch 2 version? I don't know. All good questions. Dracarla Boy said, will they have fairy costumes that are masculine looking? Will there be a merman, like a male version of mermaid costume? I know some media having a male fairy and or a merman. I think I did try to the fairy costume on two of my male Mii's, and they did not like it because it was feminine looking. I did try a Santa suit on a few of my female Mii's, and they liked it, even though I have not seen a lot of female Santa. But I did see a show with a female Santa. Yeah, it would be nice if, like, we had... Or you could choose between the female, the masculine or feminine version of the outfits for each Mii you're giving it to. Or they were, like, just completely separate now instead of, oh, well, it just chooses based on which Mii you give it to. And also having the Mii's not base their feelings about things totally on a masculine-feminine setting, unless we're specifically choosing the Mii's gender as masculine or feminine, kind of like Animal Crossing, as opposed to male or female. I don't know, all good questions. It would be interesting to see if they change things up this time around. Connor J1965, by the way, dude, I see you. Your comments are this one's one of his more tame comments. A lot of his comments are so long. You got me sitting there spending 6 minutes reading your comments, and I love you for it. You are so creative. You have a lot of thoughts. Honestly, you gotta start your own podcast, dude. Anyway, I just want to say that I appreciate your comments all the time. I do read them. It takes me a long time. But I appreciate them. You're amazing. Anyway, let's get into your comment. They say, I do hope we get to see the Miitopia Me editor being added to Tomodachi Life Living the Dream because of the hairstyle and the face makeup, and also because people have made so many characters with that, because they made Mario characters, Kirby characters, and then characters from the movies, shows, indie horror games, and YouTube series characters like from the Amazing Digital Circus. Like, I just hope we get to see this happen in Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Agreed. I think people's creativity with that Me editor is so incredible. Like, I do not have the time or ability to be that amazing, but many people do, and I would love to see that transfer over. Because it's cool in Miitopia, but it would be even cooler in Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Clemmy5511 said, Number 1, will we have a maximum of 100 Miis? Number 2, new family interactions. Number 3, gay couples. Number 4, new dramas, cheating and enemies. Number 5, kids playing with each other. Number 6, what locations can we have? Park, amusement park, tower, forest, mountain. All great questions. Yeah, I would love to see more locations because right now it's kind of basic, but I feel like they're keeping a lot of that for later. Also in the trailer, it almost looked like kids playing together, but like, I don't know if they were just a bunch of Miis that happen to be short and they're just playing, I don't know. All great questions. Yellow Ninja YT said, Number 1, how many Miis can we have? Number 2, is the apartment building returning or are they living in those houses? Number 3, can the Miis sing again? Number 4, same gender relationships? Number 5, what new shops will we get? Number 6, if everyone lives in a house, where will married couples live? Number 7, will Miis still have babies? Gosh, I hope so. I hope for all of that. All wonderful questions. Synthphony said, I want to know everything about Mii customization. Will every set of clothing and hat be returning? Will we get to make custom clothing like Animal Crossing? Are the clothes still together in one piece or are they separated by shirt, pants, etc.? Can we have more than one accessory? Can we customize where the accessories sit on the Mii's head? Is it makeup back from Miitopia in its full capacity or is it nerfed? If it's back, is it improved or is it the same? I know something is different about it because when the blonde Mii that's smelling flowers in the trailer closes her eyes, her makeup follows suit and her eyes shape instead of disappearing like how it would in Miitopia. That means that either the Mii maker has some built-in eyes that have makeup or the Miitopia makeup is back and you might be able to make custom facial expressions. Wow, you really looked into that. I love it. I love the idea of custom clothes. I hope that they show us that. And yeah, separating them by like shirts, pants, and like the accessories being like, oh, eye accessory, head accessory, stuff like that, so we can have multiple would be so cool. And yeah, if you're right about that and we get like the Miitopia one, the Miitopia editor basically, but this time it's like more detailed and sticks with it, or like we're even able to edit the facial expressions. Oh my god, that would be awesome. Although I could totally see some people do some weird stuff with editing facial expressions. Like they get a completely different face when they like close their eyes. Anyway, great comment, great questions. SilverChan9999 said, my question are on the customizations because I definitely want to try my hand on making some accurate looking Miis that I couldn't make in the original Tomodachi. I've not played Miitopia yet, but if we get the same customization system, will it be the updated version? Where we can get even crazy because I feel like that's what's happening. I have that feeling. And I have so many characters and act I want to create. There's also the issue I have with the birth dates and years. I'd like that we can record that into our Miis when it comes to fictional Miis. Like, recently I just Ranma 1/2 characters, Ranma, female Ranma, Arcane, and Ryoga. And other characters that don't really have solid and official birth dates, especially the year, because that's how we know their ages, but if they don't have a year date, it makes it really hard for me to make a Mii that's actually a teenager or a kid into an adult or a kid because they don't have years dates. So a system where I can add their ages myself would be great as well. And maybe you can just randomize a year for me, which I can change at will, of course. Or even more, I'd like to point out that Nintendo already had the kid or adult system. If they just chose to get rid of years altogether and just did like kid, teen, adult, young adult, adult, elder adult or something like that would also work great. Great questions all around. Raving Shape said, will it miss some things from Tomodachi life? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that it brings back everything and then more. But yeah, we will definitely have to see. Psycho 1952 said, I'm fearful they might try getting rid of too many things from the Tomodachi Life 1, its original charm. So far, there's no evidence that they're going to do that, but I'm still afraid nonetheless. I agree, it's definitely a fear, so I'm hoping we get to see that it's just as amazing as before. Fingers crossed. And our very last comment today is coming from Gaming Noah saying, what are you going to name your island when the game comes out next year, KawaiiBeth? And I'm actually going to name it the same as I named my Animal Crossing New Horizons island, Kauai Bay. Because Kauai Bay just works for a island, you know? Why not run with it? Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much to every single person who commented on today's video. It was, I posted it 5 months ago. I'm sorry it took me so long. New mom life is very busy, but thank you guys so much for all of your patience with it. Thank you for watching today's video as well. I love you all so very much. I hope you enjoy. Please leave a like if you do. And of course, comment your questions below because, like, let's keep the discussion going. I try to respond to every comment. I sometimes take ages. Please forgive me. But I love every one of you guys' comments and I love responding because it's a great community. The entire Tomodachi Live community are just lovely people. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching today's video. If you made it all the way through, you're just freaking fantastic. I adore you. Have a great rest of your day. Love you guys. Bye.